Hello, it is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned In Tarot, and we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see things change, we do need to shift and change the energy within. And hopefully, by watching these readings, you can start to get some insight into why the energy is where it is and how you can shift and change to be able to manifest the outcomes you truly desire. All right, so today is my no contact reading, and I'm going to use a spread that I have developed called Obstacles Removed. This is a spread that I do offer if you're interested in a personal reading. You can click the link below in the description box below to book any private readings with me, and you'll find all the information you need there. You can also send me decks, you can send me gifts, you can do send donations. Anything to help support me and keep this channel going is always so greatly appreciated. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is look at the general energy surrounding the divine masculine and the divine feminine right now in regards to communication. And for the masculine energy, we are seeing the Three of Wands. And for the divine feminine energy, we are getting the Moon card. So the general energy for the masculine right now, I'm actually seeing an energy of travel. So I feel like he's on his way. He has been acutely aware that the feminine energy is waiting for him to communicate. It's not like he doesn't know that, right? He knows that he does need to speak. I think he's been consistently seeing a future time when that's going to happen, and there is a recognition on his behalf that he does actually need to travel to make his way towards the feminine in order to actually bring about that communication. And so I'm getting a sense of it is time for him. That's the general energy. For the feminine, I'm seeing some fear and anxiety coming up, perhaps fear that this won't happen, or that it's a mystery when it will happen. Also, I'm seeing there might be some subconscious limiting beliefs that are kind of around this potential for communication right now for her. I definitely have a sense that she's afraid that the communication won't take place. That's just the general energy. Like, I'm just afraid I'm never going to hear from this masculine energy is something that she might be thinking about right now, or just it's a mystery when this might happen or how this could happen, something like that. So the actual block or the obstacle for each of them. For the masculine, we have the Knight of Coins, which goes very well with the Three of Wands, because the Three of Wands is about having to be patient and wait for something. And the Knight of Coins or the Knight of Pentacles is about moving extremely slowly, kind of a withholding energy, perfectionism. And for the feminine, we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is an energy of independence, creativity, abundance, nurturing and care for the self, and a focus just on material for herself as well. So for the obstacle for the divine masculine is that he's trying to make sure that everything is perfect. And at this point, perfection doesn't even matter. It never did, but it really doesn't matter now, because the longer you take, the less perfect it is for the feminine, because she's waited and waited and waited. I think he's realized that breadcrumbs are no longer sufficient. So he does realize that he really needs to bring her something a lot more solid and significant. And he's blocked in communicating with her because he doesn't know if what he has to bring her is quite perfect enough for how he views her. The divine feminine's obstacle or block is that she's gotten very used to this energy of just having to do everything on her own, herself, independently. It could be some issues of self-worth and value that are coming up for her too, that might be a block or an obstacle to her right now, or just this feeling like she'll always have to do things by herself. That is her obstacle, is feeling like she has to also be perfect and having all of her money in order, having these creative endeavors all in place, having this nurturing of herself, and just the perfection she's having to bring to be her most authentic self is now functioning as a block or an obstacle for her. So where did this block originate? So from masculine, the divine masculine of the Knight of Pentacles energy, where that block originated for him is in this Hanged Man energy. So he just surrendering to this inertia for so long and gaining perspective on what he's done in the relationship or how he's carried himself or acted, this has actually given him this, he's literally given him pause. That phrase of "this gives me pause," it has given him a reason to slow everything down and to try to show up in this really correct way, while at the same time doubting his ability to do that. And that's caused him to try to be perfect in how he approaches the feminine. Where the block originates from the feminine is the Three of Wands, which is the general energy that the masculine has been in. So the distance between them, which could be a physical distance, emotional distance, both. So the distance between them is a block for her. The idea that she would have to travel far to get to him or vice versa. The amount of time that she has been very patient and just kind of waiting here on her own has forced her into this energy of being like, I can't count on the future the future potential I see. I have to, just be my best self right now and take care of my own self and not count on anybody but me, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's here alone waiting for something to happen. And so this is what makes her just not want to rely on anybody but herself, because she knows how it feels to be waiting for the divine masculine to leave that Hanged Man energy. How this obstacle is currently manifesting in the 3D, the divine masculine, wow, we have a very action-oriented energy. We have the Chariot and the King of Swords. So he is determined to just go forward, to actually travel, to follow some kind of a plan or strategy, to communicate and speak his truth and be heard, no matter the consequences. It's just like letting his heart, letting the divine drive the chariot, drive him forward, move him forward. So basically, this block of this perfectionism, it's caused him to be very, very calculating and a little bit cold and aloof. So he might not be saying anything. He might be wearing some kind of a mask about his feelings right now, because he's gone within and tried to figure out exactly how to move this forward. So he's gone into like a thinking state to try to figure out how to just say what he needs to say. And it's not that complicated. It doesn't require a strategy or a plan. It just requires him to open his mouth and start speaking, and the rest will follow. For divine feminine, how her block is manifesting is this feeling of missed opportunity, and indolence, not really wanting to take action, just kind of going into a receptive mode, meditation, being grounded. She is probably fantasizing a lot about what she desires, but feeling like she's reflecting also upon how that hasn't come to pass. So she's feeling a little bit like she's feeling inertia, like she doesn't really kind of know what to do except for feel the disappointment of the times that have, the opportunities that have been missed. It might be causing her to focus on missed opportunities, or just live in sort of a fantasy type of an energy. Might also have her exploring feelings of rejection wounds, abandonment wounds, those things that kind of need exploration. She's immersed in her own cup in this image. You can see she's sitting inside of her own cup that's balanced between these two energies here. So what will help her remove, or what will help both of them remove this block? For the masculine, the Two of Wands. So no longer planning or strategizing or trying to come up with an idea of how to do things. This card is all about you've asked and is going to be given to you. It's about actually taking the journey and believing in the divine connection between the two. He just really needs to stop trying to plan or strategize and just surrender to the fact that he has asked for it and it will come to pass, and he will be led where he needs to go. The divine feminine, to remove her block, she needs to just wipe the slate clean. She needs to stop thinking about the past opportunities that have been missed. She needs to stop focusing on the way things have played out and just have a blank slate, just a beginner's mind in regards to this connection. She needs to just allow herself to take the risk of relying on someone else to come forward rather than feeling like she has to control everything or do everything by herself. Who or what should the masculine release to move on? The Two of Swords. He really has to stop worrying about the divine feminine blocking him or not seeing things from his perspective. He also just needs to make a choice or a decision. He needs to release this energy of indecisiveness. Should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? Should I do it? It doesn't matter how you do it at this point. It really doesn't matter. Anything you do is going to be effective. Divine feminine is absolutely going to respond to whatever messages you send her. That's not going to be a problem for her. And for the feminine, what should she release to move on? She needs to release this idea of justice, not justice being done. She should believe that justice will be done, but this focusing on the past and needing an apology and needing things to be made right. And this is giving her a certain amount of self-righteousness that really isn't fair, because the masculine has done the best with what he has had. His resources, his time, his energy, his wounds. He's done the best he could do. So releasing a sense of injustice is really important for the feminine right now. Things are fair. Things have played out as they were meant to. What can the masculine learn from this current pause? The masculine can learn how to reciprocate the loving, kind, nurturing energy that he's received from the feminine. It's now his turn to return this energy to her in kind. So he's learning how to reciprocate. If she's sending a message, he's learning how to respond to those messages. He's learning how to be generous, and he's learning that he was breadcrumbing in the past, and that is what has caused there to be so much strife in the connection. The divine feminine is learning how to embody the masculine energy, to be her own emperor, to be in command of her emotions rather than control. Command means you feel them and they help you to make decisions, rather than you feel them and they overwhelm you and the decisions you make are a repercussion of your feelings. It's more about balancing out, working with her head and her heart together. She's learning how to be a boss and to feel her worth and her value, and not need another person to validate that or to bring that to her, but just to inherently understand that it is her own energy that is being reflected back to her by the person that she chooses to focus on. What can the divine masculine look forward to once he removes this obstacle of the Knight of Pentacles? We're seeing the Hermit card for him. So this is also showing us a feminine energy who's alone. So he can look forward to helping divine feminine move out of this energy of the Hermit, of being alone and feeling like she has to do everything on her own. It's the culmination of the inner journey that both of them have taken. So he can look forward to this energy of constantly having to do things alone being something that both of them can put behind them. The divine feminine, we're seeing the only reversal in this reading, the Ten of Swords, no longer being trapped or stuck in a certain mindset, in a particular mindset, no longer being focused on the pain that has happened in the connection, the pain of rejection or the pain of abandonment, which did not come from her person, remember, but came from her own inner wounding that chose her to select people that would perpetuate these ideas about herself, and really understanding that these are just thoughts and just ideas. She is not bound to them. And the end of separation finally being here. So no longer being alone and separate, but realizing that that same union that exists within self can and does exist externally as well. So that's beautiful. So what would the divine masculine say if he could speak to the divine feminine today? Vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. This is what he would say to her. He would say, what seems hideous has its own beauty, and the recycling and repurposing that I have done is as important as any other activity in nature that supports the cycle of life. My message is that nothing is to be wasted, for nature sees value in everything that exists. What seems rotten and ugly has the potential to be transmuted into something beneficial. And I am reminding myself that any suffering that we have experienced has not gone to waste. Wisdom and understanding that arose from the experience are talismans that will serve us on our journey wherever we go. What is decaying is only changing form and will fertilize seeds we wish to plant, turning that which has passed away into the substance that will support new growth. All that we might wish to deny or discard has value and can be repurposed and reintegrated into the new life, into the new us that we are becoming, and the new life that we are dreaming into being. No pain was in vain, and no experience was wasted, for we have the power to use it to co-create something far better. This is the miracle in our partnership with Spirit. Wow, so a lot of wisdom gained on the masculine's part. And the feminine would say to the masculine, flamingo spirit, embrace the in-between. Number 26. Balance comes easily to me, who sees what was and what will be and stands strong in the face of uncertainty. I can be informed by what came before and plan for a future yet to be. But I must not resist the call to be fully present in the now where the real magic happens. With one foot in the life I am moving away from and one in the future, as I become the one who leads the life of my highest intentions, I must make peace with the fact that I am not fully in either place. I must embrace the in-between. My presence is also a sign that your creativity is rising within you, divine masculine, and opportunities are beginning to present themselves. Let's remain here in a balanced state of mind, for there is much to know and learn before going forward with new plans. We can trust this moment and ourselves as we take in what we see and become aware of all that we are experiencing in this in-between time. It's a very temperance energy. I do feel the divine feminine has been embodying this temperance energy very well lately. So that is my no contact message for today. I do hope it gave you some of the perspective that you were hoping to receive on your journey. I've been doing a series of videos about the twin flame journey. I think going forward, I will not be using the terminology of twin flame, except when referring directly to Elizabeth Clare Prophet's version of her ideas about soulmates. And I will myself be using the word soulmate or divine counterpart, because I feel that her terminology is particular to her belief system, and I don't really agree with a lot of the things that she put forward into the collective about the twin flame journey. And if you're curious about that, you can check out the videos under the Origins of the Twin Flame playlist. I am putting out another one in a little while today, so you'll see the next installment, and I will be breaking down some other authors in the collective who have decided to write about the phenomenon of twin flame, including Jen McCarty and Kate Rose. And I just wanted to say that just because I am doing this research and learning about the history of the terminology and the concepts, it does not mean that I do not believe in the phenomenon that occurs that would inspire such content. It's just that I reject some of the ideas that are being perpetuated by these people because I feel they have no basis in what I would consider humanity's experience of soulmates and love throughout time. And instead, I want to find the common denominators between all of these authors and connect them back to ancient and sacred texts. And that is because I believe that the knowledge we have is inherent, it is always there. I think when we gain knowledge, we simply discover things that have already been known, and there is nothing hidden from us. So I don't believe that another human being is required for me to understand the journey that I'm on, and I just want to encourage people to take that stance when evaluating other people's content. I saw a video today by another creator who I think might be offended by my questioning some of the stereotypical twin flame content, and I do not mean to offend. If you feel very strongly that that content resonates with you, there is nothing stopping you from believing in it. But there's also nothing stopping me from questioning it and offering that perspective for others who are curious and who are not satisfied with the explanations of the twin flame journey on TikTok and Google. All right, I've said my piece. I shall see you all later. Take care. I should probably be back on Wednesday doing the thinking, saying, doing reading that I do. And thanks for being here, everybody. And I will see you next week on No Contact Reading, if not Friday. Bye.